God doesn't think too highly of atheists.
Well, I don't think too highly of him going around being all non-existent. I mean, when I'm not doing this thing I do as a job, I don't even think of him at all. And even when I am doing this, I'm mostly distracted by the really bad arguments for his existence, / terrible science, / piss poor philosopher-merizing. Hell, if it wasn't for the fact that theists won't shut up about him, I doubt I would think about him at all. I wonder why that is.
People that go out and they say that there is no God.
You make it sound like atheists are essentially reverse Jehovah's Witnesses. Excuse me, sir, do you have a minute to talk about absolutely fucking nothing? You do? Well, get a job! Unfortunately, that doesn't actually happen, as hilarious as it would be. Atheists, for the most part, are just kind of getting on with it. I and atheist YouTubers like me are actually an exception to that rule. And the only reason that you think that atheists are always out and about talking about how goddamn the big fake is because you guys won't shut the fuck up about him. If you stopped, I bet you would find that atheists evaporated overnight, because it's basically confirmation bias.
The Bible calls them fools, and that they are corrupt and abominable.
Well, the Bible says a lot of shit, much of it completely fucking indefensible. So I really don't put much stock in what it says about me specifically. I mean, I am corrupt and abominable, but it's got dick all to do with the fact that I noticed that God doesn't real, and everything to do with the fact that I am a massive arsehole.
And when you study thousands of years of the history of mankind, you will see that whenever people give up their belief in God, they soon degenerate into a animal-like state.
Aside from the fact that it was only in about the last few hundred years that anyone really had the bright idea to question the idea that deities are real at all, to any large degree, or as any kind of movement. I mean, in times of yore, the word atheist just meant that you didn't believe in a specific god or set of gods. Not that they thought they were fake entirely. However, there are many groups and many nations that are secular and are anything but degenerate. They contain happy, good people who do right by their neighbours but just happen to not do the whole church thing, and somehow are among the most peaceful, happy, stable societies on earth. So that's either a lie or you are so ignorant on this particular topic that perhaps there's a reason that you have to talk about it in the woods where no one can correct your stupidity constantly.
Which is funny because atheists teach that they are animals.
No, fuckwit. Atheists don't teach anything as a rule. However, scientifically literate atheists know that humans come under the taxonomy of animals because it's a descriptive term, not a value judgment. And we know how fucking words work. Saying that humans aren't animals opens up the question of, well, what the hell are they then? Trees? Mushrooms? Although, to be fair, I do prefer when they are partially buried in shit and kept in a cupboard.
They're just another mammalian species or something like this.
Oh my god, the implication is absolutely hilarious. Are you seriously suggesting that humans aren't fucking mammals? Because, yeah, humans absolutely are mammals. It's like the guy can't take the fact that humans and other animals are in fact very similar to the point where they exist within many of the same categories. And as if that still couldn't be the case with a god. It's the desperate need to feel super special. Next, he will be telling us that humans don't walk on legs or breathe air because that's what those other things do. Moron.
So they really shouldn't get offended by me calling them animals because they confess it themselves.
He really doesn't understand how words work, does he? Holy shit. You know that words can have multiple meanings, right? When I say humans are animals, I mean that under the scientific classifications that we use to group things together, humans are grouped with many other things that have a bunch of extremely similar traits. But when you call atheists animals, you mean that they are subhuman scum. Funnily enough, that's a really shitty thing to do, especially when you consider yourselves to be the good guys. You would think that the good guys should be able to comprehend the basic humanity of even their most ardent detractors. Interesting how you can't, almost like you're not.
Funny how that works.
It is very funny how you can't understand words and say very stupid things, and then try to justify them with a religion that constantly dehumanizes the other. Oh, and for any bright sparks out there saying that I'm a hypocrite because I say mean words about how someone is objectively saying stupid shit does not mean I think he literally isn't a human being, you fucking moron. But even if that wasn't the case, the rules clearly state that I am allowed to be a hypocrite.
But I did a video a number of years ago about the fact that atheists are just actually Luciferians.
Oh, and of course he doubles down. The good guys are stripping their opponents of not only their humanity, but casting them as literally demonic. This is exactly the kind of fuckwit who thinks that atheists are so angry and he just can't conceive of why. All the while spouting horrendous lies about them constantly. No, atheists aren't Luciferian. They don't fucking believe in him either, dumbass.
The satanic philosophy that Satan came out with in the very beginning in the Garden of Eden, that's actually what atheists believe.
Oh, I am fucking sure, mate. I am absolutely convinced that you can even begin to comprehend the beliefs and motivations of atheists. I mean, you already so eloquently called them subhuman demonic scum, so of course you know everything they believe, you absolute fucking spoon.
They believe that they can determine what is good and evil, that they can be their own standard of morality.
A massive straw man of atheism from this guy who could have seen that coming. Not only that, but it's also extreme hypocrisy. So for one, atheists almost universally ascribe to some form of secular morality. They in fact believe things are good and bad by learning about them. But of course, not everything is covered by what they learn. So then they have to rely on empathy and intuition. The exact same thing that everyone fucking does. Even the religious. But that's not even the most hypocritical part. You, mate, you absolutely pick and choose your morality. You decide what things you think are moral and what things that you don't from your own book, all of which is ostensibly supposed to be good and correct, but of course is also, likely completely intentionally, ambiguous as fuck. There's a reason there are a zillion goddamn sects of Christianity. And no, oh yeah, this is definitely the real one. Even though every last one of you will be utterly convinced that actually it's your one, obviously.
And that's pretty bad.
So then other religions are absolutely fine, even though they might say completely different things from your belief system. At least those people aren't coming up with their own morality, so that's better somehow, and obviously better than humans coming together to try and base their morality on reducing harm and maximizing well-being. Do you actually realize how fucking stupid you sound? Again, probably not. It can be hard to know how dumb you are when you are trapped alone with your own stupid thoughts in the woods.
You see, the problem is
that you are a fucking idiot? Yeah, we already figured that one out, thanks.
When you are an atheist, you believe ultimately the biggest issue with atheism is...
Oh man, I cannot wait to find out what I think is the biggest problem with atheism. But you know, here is what I actually think is the problem, and let's see how it compares. The one biggest problem with atheism is this: where are all the gods? I mean, seriously, just because you think that no gods exist doesn't mean that you shouldn't have them. You just worship them and give them all your stuff while also saying that they don't real. And now on a completely unrelated note, I, Sir Sick, new self-appointed god of atheists, demand that you subscribe to my channel, like the video, and bring me all your whiskey.
You don't believe in judgment of any kind.
Well, first off, that's not a problem for us about ourselves because it's not fucking true. And as an external criticism, it is also not fucking true. What are you talking about? Atheists don't believe in judgment of any kind. His words, not mine. I think you'll find most atheists abso-fucking-lutely do believe in judgment. The only judgment that we know exists. The judgment of others on us and our actions, which, as a rule, leads us to at least attempt to treat other people well, and not go around, say, calling entire groups of people, especially ones who are essentially a minority of all people, that they are literally subhuman filth, because that's kind of a shitty thing to do. And yet you do that, and think it's fine and dandy, because you're convinced that if there is a God, he will think that that was really cool of you. But I think if there is a God, and one that is even remotely empathetic to people in general, he's going to think that you're a massive fucking dickhead. Oops.
You don't believe that there is a judgment coming whereby you will have to stand before your creator and give an account of what you've done with your life.
Alright, so what? I mean, apart from the fact that that sounds weirdly exactly like the kind of holding court-esque shit that used to happen in the olden days when the book those were written, you know, because unless they were completely making shit up that turned out to be absolutely untrue, like the formation of the universe or worldwide floods that didn't fucking happen, then all their ideas were inspired by, read stolen, from things around them. It's funny when you think about it, everything in heaven is all shit that is based on the human understanding of the world. Kingdoms with kings and courts and servants, and not something completely different and unexpected. Almost like it was written by people for people and has nothing to do with any possible real beyond the world location. But yeah, ignore all that incredibly suspicious shit. How do you know what he wants? I know you think you know that, but you don't actually know that. And while I don't think that judgment is going to happen, I'm also more than comfortable with it happening, because I live my life as best I can, doing as much good as I can. And if that means some asshole deems me not worthy, well then fuck the guy. His standards are obviously garbage anyway, especially if he lets in a dipshit like you instead. Sounds like a win-win.
That's a big problem.
You being a self-righteous arsehole? Yeah, kinda, because it makes you think that the reason people keep giving you shit is because you're a true believer and just better than everyone else, making it nearly impossible for you to properly self-reflect and actually be the better man that you almost certainly believe you are already. Now, I wouldn't say it's completely impossible that you could pull your head out of your ass, but it's just going to be a lot more difficult, at least without some kind of philosophical proctologist.
Because it leads to people that say, well, as long as I don't get caught, I guess it's not bad.
That is self-contradictory twaddle. If someone is self-aware enough to fear getting caught, then they have a moral framework, one that is likely to make them say, well, I may get caught, so perhaps I won't do it. But that isn't even how most atheists think. Some might, sure, but again, most are just decent people who care about others. And, of course, plenty of religious sorts do shitty things anyway, despite the apparent cosmic overlord. So it's moot. Not to mention, it is yet more hypocrisy when your worldview leads to, well, if God says it's okay, then it's not bad, even if that thing promotes hatred and suffering and pain. But God said it was okay, so I'm a good person. Made worse still by the fact that it is just your interpretation of what someone says God said, along with, again, your picking and choosing of the parts of the theology that actually count. When you compare all that to people who tend to base their morality on what causes suffering and aim to make less of it, everything you do sounds like reprehensible insanity.
I can make up my own opinions, my own feelings and whatever, and I'll never be judged for it.
But you will. It happens all the time. And if you think, yeah, but after death you won't. Yes, you will. Even without a God, other people will continue to exist after you die. They will remember you and the things that you did, at least for a time. And while you won't be there to experience that judgment, legacy has always been an extremely important and foundational part of the human experience. People often want to leave the world a better place than they found it. Not all of them, obviously, some of them are fucking nutcases, but most care what other people think of them after they're gone. Your impact on the world, the lives you touched, even the people you hurt, the family you left behind. Every single one of them will have some kind of judgment for you, good or bad, upon your death, and for possibly a very long time after. And that absolutely affects how people treat each other.
You know, and these are the same people that will get angry at a Christian and say, you're so judgmental. Stop judging me and whatever.
I'm not worried about you judging me per se, I'm worried about your blatant hypocrisy. I mean, right here, you clearly don't want to be judged for your shit behavior, but it's fine to you to judge atheists as the worst possible things. And of course, the fact that you won't fucking stop dehumanizing people. Again, my morality isn't just based on my own thoughts and feelings, but the harm that kind of shit could cause to me, and more importantly, other people. When you think of people as literally less than you, filthy animals, abominable, that you can do whatever you want to, that is a little bit concerning, friend.
Why are you being worried, or why are you so worried about being judged?
By people like you? Because when you have the divine right to treat me as an abomination? Tell me exactly what is off the table in terms of despicable cruelty that you are now not only allowed to do, but seemingly obligated to enact. Are you so dense that you can't see how that could possibly be a problem? I mean, obviously, but it's still worth pointing out.
Because you're corrupt and abominable. That's why, as an atheist.
It is amazing that your conclusion as to why I somehow don't fear judgment is also because I am a terrible piece of garbage. But you are absolutely telling on yourself again. I mean, look at the face. That is utter disgust. This person who judges me fucking hates me and everyone like me, while having no idea what I or any of them are like, what good people like me have done in the world, because we don't agree with his made-up fairy tale bullshit. And the whole time, he is absolutely convinced he's the good person. It's beyond fucking parody, man.
Again, no absolute moral standards. Well, who's to say? You with your standards and whatever, your Bible-thumping standards and things. Well, I have my standards.
As with all lackwits, you have confused absolute moral standards, a thing that you again cannot claim to even know what they are, with having no standards whatsoever. Atheists have moral standards based on people and what will make them happy and healthy. Your standards are literally some shit some guys made up a few thousand years ago that largely don't even apply today. And the ones that do, we still have. And that's not me saying God made those good morals that stand the test of time. I'm saying that the writers stole those as well as their descriptions of all sorts of other shit. Because of course they did. Human morality has existed since before the nonsense you believe was even a fraction of an idea in some asshole's head. The religious do not own morality. And you specifically don't own morals, because as far as I can tell, if you need to be told how not to be the worst piece of murderous crap, you don't fucking have any. Bye!